Recently, Conor McGregor's coach, John Kavanagh, was on the Ariel Hawani podcast talking about how Conor has been pushed back 2 more months for his return date and how this could be affecting Conor McGregor's mental health. When you pair this with him recently talking and saying that he's been begging the UFC to give him a fight, it really starts to break down exactly where Conor McGregor is in his career and in his mentality. Well, let's unpack this just a little bit, guys. I've seen some of the yappers online, show some real sadness for Conor McGregor and his situation. But then I've seen in the comments section people talking about how he has all the money in the world and go and cry on your yacht. Now, I don't want to judge Conor because he has a big bank account. To me, it doesn't matter if you're a rich man or a poor man. It depends on what kind of man you are. And being a man and being an adult means that you owe up to owning your own mistakes. You own the problems that you've made in your own life and you work to fix them. That's what being an adult means. Don't get me wrong, I'd rather be depressed on a yacht than at a bus stop, but depressed is still depressed. What do I mean by Conor McGregor tried to cheat? Didn't he have an exemption? Look, let's break this down very clearly. We all know he snapped his leg against Dustin Poirier and since then has had an exemption to help with the recovery process. Problem is, Conor's been taking that exemption to help with the recovery process a little bit too far. I think we can presume that McGregor took that exemption and absolutely ran with it. If they asked him to piss in a cup in June, he would have melted through that cup like a scene out of the old Alien movies. McGregor was on so much gear, he ballooned up to like a swollen, jacked, ripped 180, 190. What do we reckon? We saw the photos of that. He not just his leg, right? He was standing up, both legs, no crutches, no swelling, just looking massive. He didn't even look like himself. Like literally, his face changed shape. Can you imagine how much gear you have to be on for your face to change shape within, I don't know, 3-6 months? Then he pops back on the scene looking like a lab experiment that's gone absolutely wrong and tries to say that he'll be back in no time. All he needs to do is give USADA 2 clean tests. USADA take one look at him and they're like, nah, bro, you're on a little bit more than a picogram over there. And the fallout that we've all seen as MMA fans this year begins to unfold. The UFC and Conor McGregor versus USADA. And it just unravels and unravels. And now the USADA deal has completely fallen apart. The UFC are going to be moving away from them. And Conor McGregor still has to sit out for 6 months. Look, at the end of the day, Conor McGregor tried to use an advantage from a performance-enhancing substance against clean athletes. Conor, you thought you could bulk up, hop off for a month, hand in 2 clean tests, and then kick Michael Chandler's head off. You couldn't, and now you have to sit out and wait for it. It is what it is. Take that like an adult. This is just a classic victim narrative that we see play out across the world whenever someone breaks the rules and then they start to cry whenever it doesn't go their way. So I think everybody just needs to put all the money aside for a minute and just allow Conor, and Conor needs to put the money aside for a minute as well. Just take the punishment on the chin, sit stoically and wait. You must have known that if this didn't go your way, they weren't just going to let you perform, okay? It's not fair to go in there against athletes who have been clean, been in the USADA testing pool. How long's Chandler been in the UFC now? I mean, I know time's moving quickly. What's it been, like 5 years, 4 years? It's been a minute, right? Chandler's been in there, had to hand in clean test, and you thought that you could just sit out for a bit, hand in 2 clean tests over, I don't know, 1-2 month period, and then go in there and kick his head. That was unfair. That is cheating. That is 100% cheating. It's trying to play the system to get around it. And it didn't work out. So just sit and wait. The other thing that goes along with this is Conor McGregor signed the biggest contract in UFC history. He is by far their highest paid star. Now, Conor knows the business. He knows what this is. The UFC is a sports entertainment company, and they need to get a return on investment for Conor McGregor. They need him out there and entertaining. Since he signed that deal, he has been very inactive. The UFC has not gotten the return on investment that they were hoping to get. So if UFC 300 is turning out to be as stacked as we think it's going to be, if they can push Dricus versus Izzy onto UFC 300, if things go their way in January with Sean Strickland and Dricus du Plessis, if everything falls into place, You are going to have a absolutely stacked UFC 300, and you're not going to need Conor McGregor on that card. Speaking as the business owner, okay? Speaking as the business owner, you're not going to need Conor McGregor on that card. So move him back 2 months into July. Done. No problem. Now you're making good turnover for the entire year. And if that's what has to happen to Conor McGregor, it's 2 more months. It's 2 more months. Just wait. You must have known that you're signing a deal with the devil. When you're the highest paid star in the sport, that means that they want to get that money back. Obviously, they want to get that money back, and they're going to use you the way that best serves them. Now, as far as Conor McGregor's relationship with the fans is going, I do feel like he's losing a bit of his star power. Let's just look at our most recent example with Conor McGregor and the fans. It was the Ultimate Fighter, and they ended up, at least in Australia, I'm not sure what you guys were seeing on the YouTube version in America, but at least in Australia, they ended up giving away Tough for free on YouTube. That's really bad. That's really, really bad. It shows me that the numbers that they were getting and the interactions that they were getting weren't great. Can you imagine Disney putting up a new Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man movie on YouTube for free, like a couple of weeks after its release? What business owner takes X, which is the highest commodity that the business has, and gives it away for free? What business owner would do that? A business owner that's losing money on X and is trying to gin up support for it. That's what that tells me. It doesn't look good for Conor McGregor. So the UFC need to use him as strategically as possible to make that money back on him. And again, that's just another thing that falls on the shoulders of Conor McGregor. That's one of the things that he's going to have to cop. He signed the biggest contract in the world, so they're going to use him to make the most money that they can. He tried to cheat and get around the system. USADA weren't having a bar of it. Now he has to sit out and wait till that 6-month period is over. These things are things of your own creation that you sort of just have to sit with and allow to happen to you and try not to make these same mistakes again. That's just the way that I feel about that. I could be completely wrong. Maybe Conor McGregor is the victim here. Maybe you see this a different way, from a different angle. Please let me know that down in the comments, because I'd love a different perspective on this. Honestly, I don't even think that the Conor McGregor Chandler fight is ever going to happen. I don't think Chandler's ever going to get the shot. I think they're going to wait to see what Colby Covington happens, what happens with Colby Covington and Leon Edwards. Because if they're trying to make the most money they can off Conor McGregor, a Conor McGregor versus Colby Covington super fight completely outsells Conor McGregor and Michael Chandler. There just seems like they're waiting for a better option than Chandler, and if they have to go with Chandler, they will go with him. Give me your chance of the Chandler fight actually happening. Again, down there in the comments. Like, what percentage, here's a clear question. What percentage do you think the Conor McGregor fight with Michael Chandler is going to happen? Between 0 and 100%. Let me know down there in the comments. And also, do you care if Conor fights Michael Chandler? That's the thing that we're feeling here. I don't know if there is enough hype around that fight to justify Conor McGregor's paycheck. I know there are some Conor fans that will just watch whatever he does, but I don't feel like the hype that the UFC is looking for is quite there. I don't think the talk is there on social media that the UFC want to see. Look, they're my thoughts on John Kavanagh speaking to Ariel Hawani about Conor McGregor's mental health going into this. I think Conor McGregor needs to realize that he's been the spoiled child for a long time, and it's time to start putting in the work again and actually getting in the cage and fighting and being a company man again, like he used to be back in the day in 2014 when he would sit down with Dana and talk business and they would work things out. He needs to go back to that Conor McGregor. That's the Conor McGregor at the end of the day that we're all looking for as long-term fans of the UFC. It's crazy to say 2014 long-term fan. That's nearly a decade, man. We're old. All right, let me know your thoughts down in the comments. If you've been enjoying these videos, just before you click on to the next video that you're gonna watch, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We appreciate it so much as small content creators, and I'll see you all in the next video.